Hello, and yes, welcome back to our Netflix boxes.
Thank you.
But for me, Queer Eye right now just feels like it's a really urgently needed part of the counterbalance to all the anti-LGBTQ legislation and rhetoric that we hear out there in the world that's, affecting people in the country. And I wondered to what extent maybe being part of the show has taken on a new sort of meaning and importance to you given the current climate. Jonathan, did you want to take that
Sure.
first?
I've always been someone who's been really interested in equality, equity, and like having more people have more resources. I think I've always been like into that. But having been on Queer Eye for the last 5, 6 years, I've lived in Austin, Texas for the last 3 years. I think all of us have so much more exposure to our community at large. I think all of us are more aware. I'll speak for myself. I'm so sorry, but I think you guys would all agree.
Yeah, that's fair.
But like I am so much more aware of like the widespread suffering, widespread discrimination, widespread marginalization of our community, and having been given this platform, I do I'm really interested and invested in figuring out how to make more queer liberation happen in my community and our country, and to fight this misinformation and disinformation that is so incredibly negatively impacting our community, and especially our kids. So yes, absolutely, I think I have a lot more awareness, and I'm really grateful to be in this fight, shoulder to shoulder with people like these gorgeouses. And yeah, we gotta get it together, because these people have... Honey, we are just going through it this year. But we're going to be okay. We've been through worse. So, well, actually, kind of not really legislatively speaking at the state level, but, well, anyway, yeah, it's rough out there. But I love my friends.
Lovely button.
I love that button.
Yeah.
Lovely button.
And is there anything anyone else would like to add to that if I throw it to the rest of you?
I mean, I think that one of the beauties of Queer Eye is that people do get to see our lives and see our expertise and understand who we are as individuals. I would implore our audience who loves us to think about the family members or friends they have who might support legislation or who might not support members of our community, to challenge them to sit down and watch, but not only just watch, because then it becomes like, oh, look, they're having fun, but also to have a conversation with them once that door is open and challenge them. Because I think there are individuals that watch our show who sometimes don't understand that it's their duty to then go out in the world and still continue this fight. And we'll see it in our comments sometimes where you're like, don't you watch Queer Eye? How are you supporting this or supporting that? And I think it's that at that time where it's like, this is an opportunity not for you to only be entertained, but for you to challenge yourself to be better and to make the people around you better as well.
Mic drop. That was so good.
Anything anyone else wants to add on this from the back row?
Yeah, no, I think they said it very well.
Yeah.
Only thing that I would add is you touched on a lot of JVN and Karamo about all of the societal issues, and why I personally feel so lucky is that we get to know these individuals in a very personal way. And when you get to know the individual, I feel like there are a lot of nuances to their experiences that we get to learn that make it a lot harder to not want to show up,
Yeah. And I know we're short on time today, but I just wondered if you each had your most memorable sort of breakthrough with one of your heroes this season. And one of my favorites was Speedy this season.
Oh, his sweetheart.
Oh.
Mine was with Steph. It was the first time, I think, on the show when I really got to work with somebody who had such a hard time accepting who they were as a queer person, and seeing that they had every right to love themselves and should love themselves exactly as they are. So yeah, for me it was Steph.
I think for me, bringing up Speedy, it was Speedy. I think Speedy was going through a really hard time in his life where he didn't see a future for himself. He didn't see a future for himself where he could be independent and take care of himself and live his life exactly the way he wanted to live his life. He was literally stuck in his home all day and had to rely on other people to get him in and out. And so to be able to show him that it doesn't matter the situation you're in now, you can change that. You can go out and you can still be successful and you can fulfill all the dreams. Your dreams might have changed a little bit now, but you can still be anything you want to be. And it was very beautiful to see in his eyes when he realized, wait, I can do anything I want.
Yeah, Steph was one for me, and particularly because I realized in that conversation with her, for myself, that many gay people don't realize that they experience internalized homophobia and that they take on these messages. And for me to have a conversation with her to understand, like, the reason you don't think you deserve and the reason you think you need to hide is because you've taken on these messages that have been told to you your entire life that you're not worthy of walking around, you're not worthy of living and receiving and thriving. And that's internalized homophobia. And I think a lot of people in our community, we start to experience that, and we do it to each other, where we start to knock others down because of that internalized homophobia. And to see her break through it with all of our help, I was like, yes, ma'am. And she had an LGBT sibling. And so that was also interesting, that it's like, even with this, you still feel like you don't deserve. And it was powerful to see one of our own, a member of our community, become so successful in such a short amount of time, and now is just running things.
I thought her episode was like just so special.
Yeah.
Mine was like a tie between Jenny Seckle and Mary. I feel like, and I loved everyone on our season, but both of those heroes. In Mary's episode, like, she seems like more like she's really not afraid of her haircut and like she's really, really ready, but like both on camera and off camera, like that was like a huge decision for her, and it was one that she really led. But that was just, you know, her deciding to make like an about face and change. And then Jenny, like, you also don't see it so much in her episode, but like I suggested that she go red, and she was like, had such a visceral reaction of no, like I'm not doing that, I'm really, really scared. And then when we actually got to the salon, she was like, you know, I thought about it, I'm gonna do it. And some people might think like, oh, just like changing your hair color, it's not that big of a deal. But for her and her life and her story, like making a decision like that and committing and just like taking the leap was a big deal for her. And I felt like it really built her confidence. So that was, I loved getting to work with both of them.
Yeah.
I think what Jonathan just touched on is like the willingness and the openness to change. I think with Steph, I saw that more than I think almost any other hero. Like, this was somebody who wanted to change so much but didn't have the tools or the resources or the knowledge. And so she really came in just like, I just got emotional thinking about it, but she was
so
like
good.
so excited. And then with Speedy, I think for me personally, it was such a reminder of, you know, we have all these meetings with producers, and when we're trying to figure out what our segment is going to look like, with Speedy, when he was speaking to the producers, he was telling them that he wanted to, you know, that one of his favorite recipes that his mother made was beans and rice. And so I was mentally prepared as a white man to teach this young black man how to make beans and rice, and I was really nervous about it. And then lo and behold, he's in our loft and we're talking in the kitchen, and he's like so soft-spoken, and I tried asking him all these open-ended questions leading him to tell me about these beans and rice, and he finally tells me like, you know what, I love hibachi and I just want to learn, I used to love going there with my mom, and I want to learn how to make chicken and steak fried rice. And he was like, can you teach me how to do that? And I almost broke down in tears, which is like not, you know, I cry a lot. But anyway, I was so excited that he just came out of the blue with this thing that he wanted to make and was so like open and willing to do it. So I think it's always a reminder to ask those open-ended questions and not make assumptions about what somebody should or shouldn't want to learn how to make.
Also, Speedy's a model.
Yeah.
He is.
Yes.
So gorge.
Thank you for another beautiful season. And Jonathan, I'll see you on Saturday at the Glad Awards, I hope.
I can't wait. I'll see you then, honey. Bye.